Thanks so much. Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to another of the Kushtig presentations, webinars on qualitative data analysis technology. My name is Jess Hagman. I am a social sciences librarian at the University of Illinois, and I am part of the leadership team for Kushtig, which is I have to always move the video, make sure I get this right, the Qualitative Social Sciences and Humanities Data Interest Group, which is part of IASSIST, um, also, I'm going to mess up the full thing, but so we are a group that is lots of folks who work in data with data in all sorts of capacities across academia and also, sorry, I have not had enough coffee this morning, clearly. All sorts of sectors. So this morning we have with us Martin Hayek, who is coming from is associate professor of sociology at Charles University and is coming to us from Prague, who will be sharing an introduction to Requal, which is a qualitative software that they had developed. Just a little bit about IASSIST. So we're the International Association for Social Science, Information Service, and Technology. As I stumbled over earlier, we're an academic, government, nonprofit, commercial organizations around the world. We have a very low membership rate of $60 a year, which gives you access to our email list and then also programming developed by our committees and interest group. As I said, this is put on by our qualitative interest group, but we also have lots of other interest groups around like representation and data and other topics. We do a number of folks on our group are involved in a data rescue project, which is attempting to preserve and ensure access to US government and public data, as many are probably aware, which is at risk at the moment. And we have a YouTube channel which this recording will be shared to, and everyone who's registered, I will email you with the link so that you have access to that later as well. And you can also see our previous workshops there. We have a little bit of a break for the rest of the summer, but then in September we'll be returning with Christina Silver, who'll talk about choosing an appropriate digital tool for your QDA project or mixed methods project. Paul Pivel will be doing a gentle introduction to NVivo in October, and then we'll have a presentation from Kian Yin Trung in November to talk to us about guided AI and QDA. I think actually they've recently published an article about this method that they've talked about, so we'll be excited to hear more about how they've gone, what they're working on. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Martin, and thank you for being with us today. Let me stop sharing here.
Yes.
All right, it's all you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi, thank you for having me. It's a great honor to be here to present Requal, which is software we have done with my colleagues. I'm sociologist, so I will focus on the use part of the software, not on what is inside on the programmer side. If you have any question, of course, I can answer what I know, but I'm not a specialist in programming. I'm a specialist in coding. So this will be my perspective. I will share my screen with you. Yeah. Yes, I will just hide this window and this. Yes. Simply, Requal is another software for qualitative coding analysis. Its focus is on coding. It's not like the big program for doing everything, but it's mainly targeting the coding, and its unique characteristic is that it is designed to increase transparency and reflexivity of qualitative coding. My presentation will have 5 parts. In the beginning, I will present what is Requal, then what lies behind its development, the objective, why we developed this software. Then I will show you how to use it. It will be very brief because, yeah, if I'm presenting our software, I can spend hours of details, but in this presentation, it will be just brief to present the main main tools, main characteristics, and then we will deal with these features of which enhance reproducibility of coding. Reproducibility for us, it means transparency and reflexivity, because the positivist notion of reproducibility cannot be applied to qualitative data analysis, as you may know. And as a wrap up, I will tell what is requal for and not for also, because it is important to know what is not good reason to use it, what kind of data is not suitable for the analysis, and what ambition it doesn't have. Let's start with what requal is. As I said, it's a software for coding qualitative textual analysis. I especially emphasize the coding. This is not to manage data. It is not to do some post-analysis, presentation, visualization. It's focused on coding. It's very lightweight and easy to use. It was designed to be like for students, for beginners. You can code this requal on your smartphone. So it's easy to use, and it's free and open source. It means that anyone can use it, and the coding, the program itself is transparent. You can visit our GitHub profile, then you can see how the program is designed. Requal works in browser. It is browser application. It means that you can use it on any machine with Windows, iOS, Linux, even Android. And you can use all capabilities of your browser to make the use easier or more comfortable. Requal has two modes. One, desktop. It means it's application that is installed in your desktop computer, and all data are stored in your computer, are secure there. If you have very sensitive data you don't want to share, or you don't want to put on any server, so you can use it in your computer, or if you go to some place where the internet is not available. But we have also server mode that can be installed in any server, and you can access it from anywhere, anytime. And this server mode supports real-time multi-user collaboration. If you have a team of 5, 6 researchers, you can share a project on requal, and you can work together in simultaneously, and you can collaborate. And as I said, what is distinctive for requal is that it contains features that increase transparency and reflexivity of coding. So this is what requal is in few sentences. Then we can move to what is behind requal, why we develop, and we particularly try to address 2 current issues. The first is economic inequality. We well know as sociologists that not all people have the same resources, and there are many people that don't have enough money to buy expensive commercial software. So we designed a freeware that is available for everyone, that is simple and online coding tool for students and manualist researchers. Not only students don't have money, or the universities, if the university don't have money to pay licenses for big software like Atlas, TI, or NVivo, they can use freeware like Requal or Target or Qualcoder. But also we have a lot of researchers that don't have budget to buy software, so they can use also Requal. The second issue that is at stake is what is called sometimes reproducibility crisis in social sciences, which means that qualitative research findings are not credible, are said not being credible because the analysis is not transparent and that the findings cannot be verified. I don't want to discuss how true is this opinion, but our software is designed to help researchers to make their coding more reproducible. It means more transparent and reflexive. And in this way, to make qualitative research more credible, because you can show what was the procedure, how you came to the results, and also it promotes the reflexivity, so you can see how you are coding, or how your team is coding. So this is our ambition. And now we can move to demonstration. I will use our demo version, which can be found on this page. You can log in if you want to do it yourself. I will be very brief. I will not explain all details of the application. If you want to know more about how to use Requal, you can visit our Wikipedia page, or you can follow, or you can watch YouTube tutorials. We have a series of YouTube tutorials. So I think it's not necessary to go into detail here. I will explain the server version of Requal, which is hosted on our university server. And this server version has the features enhancing reproducibility of coding, so it's suitable for this demonstration. So the login is easy. Just authenticate. Oh, that's I was afraid of. Restart the window. Yes, that's maybe as I was logged in all the time today, so it was sometimes it didn't work fine. So this is the first page. You can load a project, or you can create a project. I have project for webinar, so I load it. And yes, on the left side, there are pages for different type of activities: data, codebook, annotate, analyze, report. It's quite simple. There is nothing what is not necessary. And if I start with the multi-user activity, this is overview of users. You can see that there is 6 users in this project, webinar project, and they have different permissions, what they can do. Jasmine is someone who has all permissions. You can see all is black. So she can do everything. She can modify data, modify codebook, see annotations and coding of other people, can delete memos of other people. She can do anything. On the other hand, Opshori, Thomas, Ella, and Kenzo are students who are just coding. So they can see data, they can see codebook, they can do the annotations, but they cannot change anything. They cannot delete any code, they cannot delete any data, they cannot delete any memos. And me, I am just in the middle. So this is user management system. You can add user, you can delete user, you can change permissions easily. Just pick what you want to have for any user. Then we move to data page. In this project, I have just one transcript for presentation, but you can create a new document by pasting text in the window. You can upload file you can delete file. So this is pretty simple. What is important to say is that requal works only with text files. So no PDFs, no visual data, no voice, just raw text. This is important. But for our purposes, for this classic hand coding, it's quite useful. Then we move to codebook. The codebook is pretty traditional. There are codes with colors. You can see description codes. You can add the code. You can edit, merge code, delete codes. And we have also categories. And you can add some code to categories or delete code. It's, for example, if I want to add administrative fractional task. So this is like normal way of doing coding, that you have codes and categories. Then the most important page for coders is this annotation screen, where you select the document you want to work with, and you see that I have already coded for you to see how it looks like. And the coding is that you highlight part of your data, you click on the bottom on the code, and it's coded. If you want to remove the code, you click on the segment, you click on the remove code, and it's done. If you want to add a new code while coding, for example, I think that this should be a new code, I mark the segment, I click on code, or I write code, and I make quick tag, and you can see a new code here. You can put the code at the end if you want, and you can have the like reorder the code depending on frequency of the use of the code. Because it's in the browser, you can use like zoom, or you can make it like not so big or bigger if you want to, if you have problem with reading. Also, you can change the size. You can also switch to underline from a highlighting mode, and you can also make the coding disappear if you want to just read the text without being disturbed by coding. Also, you can use any extension you have in your browser. For example, I have extension Dark Reader, so I can switch to dark mode if I prefer to read at night in dark mode. So all capabilities, all function of your browser can be used in requal. So this is about coding, and another important analytical tool are memos. And we have two types of memos. So requal have two possibilities to create memos. One is free memo that, for example, I have example of a free memo that is related to the whole project. I can share some thoughts about my coding with my colleagues that are not linked to particular segment of data, that about for example, about codes. And there is another possibility, and this is coding in a segment. For example, here I have this segment marked as not so sure about this segment, and this memo is linked exactly to this segment. And creating this kind of memo is easy. You just highlight the text, write something, and you create new memo. And this is and you see it's in italics to differentiate it from the rest of the text. So this is about coding and memos. Then you can see all memos here, and you can know that there are like high like order number of the memos. So it means that there are a lot of more memos in the project, but I don't have permission to see all memos. So I see only my own memos here that I showed you before. And of course, you can export all memos. Then the analytical part is in the screen analyze, where you can see all coded segments. And how we work usually is that we filter codes. If I want to see formal challenges, I deselect the categories. And now I see all segments that in interview 1 were coded as formal challenges. And I can look for patterns. And if you don't like this screen, you can, of course, download it as comma-separated values file, which can be opened in any spreadsheet like Excel. You can download it as HTML file and display it in browser. Or what I suggest to students is just copy the text and paste it in any text editor like Word or LibreOffice document writer. But for me personally, I work with this interface in Requal, and if I search for a particular word, I can use the control find function, and if I look for example, organization, there is not any word on organization. So, but management, for example, management, I can see that there are 3 matches of management, and I can navigate through the page if I look for a particular word that I remember. If I click on the document, it will jump into the annotation screen. And the last page is a report page, and there are several tabs on it, but I will deal just with the summary, when you can see the frequency of codes for the documents. Here I have just one, but if you have 10 documents, you can see the relative frequencies of individual codes. And also you can look for differences. If I want to see just Thomas, I can calculate frequencies for Thomas. So that's for the guided tour in Requal, and I will go back to my presentation. And
Martin, there's a
yes.
couple questions. Paul in the chat had asked about multiple codes, and then in the Q&A, Michael had asked about hierarchical codes like parent-child coding.
I will open the chat. Yes, so yes, of course, you can code. I can show you how to code. For example, if I coded administrative rational task, and I think this part is also effective challenge. So you can, and if I go with my mouse, you can see that it's coded by 2 codes. And if I want to remove one code, I click on it, remove, and then I remove the effective, and it stays. So yeah, this type of coding is possible. Hierarchical codes, we don't have. We have categories, which are like the higher level of coding. So this is only 2 levels, codes and categories. We don't have like several levels of coding. And the strategy is why we don't have this hierarchical coding is that we don't use it much. So it's a simple tool, and so we focus it on the simple tasks, and we intentionally didn't include the complicated types of analysis because there are software for it. The main objective of Requal is not to be like the best analytical tool, but to enhance reproducibility, as I will show. So can I continue? Or is there more question?
Thanks for answering those.
Yes.
It looks like there's a question about, is it possible to see which of the collaborators assigned each code?
Yes, you can look at it in logs. I will show it later. So
Great, thank you.
It will be in my later explanation. Let's move to, I will try to answer all your questions at the end if there are like bigger questions. And if you have little question, like technical ones, just ask immediately. And this is the feature that differentiate Requal from other software, and this is also our focus, is how to include in qualitative data coding software some features, modules, or tools that enhance transparency and reflexivity. And we included or implemented 3 types or 3 features. One feature is coders attribute registration. What is it? I will explain it from the sociological point of view, that we as sociologists know that we perceive society not from the same position. Of course, there are children, there are adults, there are men, women, there are educated, uneducated, there are religious people, and also there are social structure, there are advantages, people with privileges, disadvantages people, and our perspective, how we understand society, depends on our position. It's surprising for me that no sociological software for qualitative data analysis somehow take account this relationality, that positionality of coders. So we try to include it, and how we include it is that we have tab attributes, and for each project, so it's not for Requal as a software, but for each project, you can set up attributes for coders. If you think that for your coding, gender can be relevant, or that gender can influence the way how coders code the data, then you can ask coders, please register gender as your attribute as a coder. Also, you may ask if analytical experience somehow interfere in the coding, that theoretical sensitivity would be higher for experienced coders, for senior researchers, while if you have students, master students in your team, they will look at data differently. They have different theoretical sensitivity. Also, you can think about residents, about urban people and rural people, if there is something about the city, about time, about activities. Also, it could be seen from different perspective, or if you have an issue that is society, you can ask coders to register if they are active, like if they are civil activists or not. Of course, you have to agree on these attributes with your team. It's not that that I think that you can mandate do that attributes and register for whatever I want. And if you have project on religiosity, if you have project where ethnicity is important, if the race is important, if social media, for example, if you do analysis of social media posts, it could be useful to register who is like the high social media user and who is a low social media user, to see if these attributes have any impact on coding. And in our team, I will make it bigger. Yes, we have mostly beginners and which are active in civil life. We have symmetric regarding gender, and we have more urban people. This is just overview. And when we can see the impact on coding is in agreement tab. In report page, we have agreement tab, and I will go to overlap by user attribute, and I can select gender. This is the first one. And now we can see the difference in overlap. So it means agreement, how consistent are these two groups of coders. That female coders are slightly more consistent in general for all codes, for all documents than male, and there are also slight difference. So I will say that the gender has no big impact on the coding here. If I look on analytic experience, there is a change. There is the group of beginners, they are consistent in their codings, and advanced, it means Jasmine and me, we are consistent in our coding, but we are not consistent across these categories. So it means that there is some gap between advanced and beginners, and we have to discuss in the team what makes this difference in coding between advanced and beginners coders. And to see it, we can break down the table by individual codes. And now we see that the biggest difference is in coding of failure, that female coders are very consistent in coding failure in the text, in data, while male coders are not so consistent. They are very, I would say, very inconsistent in coding failure. And we can look then to this code, and I will show it later, why there is these differences. And we can look also for example, analytic experience. And we can see that there is high overlap in former challenges, that for advanced coders, it's easy to code former challenges, but it's very difficult to code effective challenges, while for beginners, it's easy to code effective challenges. So there could be some bias in seeing effective challenges for advanced coders, and to see formal challenges for beginners. And so this is the first feature that enhances transparency and reflexivity. Reflexivity, that you can reflect on your coding, and transparency, that you see something that is not possible to see with conventional data analysis software. We don't see these groups of coders. The second feature is inter-coder agreement visualization. I already shown you calculation-based, it was these graphs, but we have also text-based inter-coder agreement visualization. This could be next step if you know that there is some miscoding or inter-coder disagreement in formal challenges for advanced and beginners. You can go to text overlap, and you select effective challenges and browse, click on browse. And now you see the data, the document, and depending on how many coders coded a particular segment, there is the lighter color and darker color. So if you see this is just one coder, Ella, there are two coders, Thomas, Ella, and then you see here that this part of the text is perceived by almost all coders as relevant for effective challenges. And you see the core sentence, and this is very, I would say, instructive for the team, that the overlap is not the problem. Having like not being consistent in coding agreement is not that we don't know or we mark different part of the text, but that some coders are generous. They code the big segments, while other coders are just parsimonial. They code the core part of the statement. And this was coded by 4 coders, and I see that it was coded by Opshory, Thomas, Kenzo, and Ella, which all 4 are beginners, are students. So this is where students agree on what effective challenges are. And I can look here, and I see it's also coded by Opshory, Thomas, Kenzo, and Ella. It's also something that is typical for younger generation, for students. And here I see it's also typical for younger generation, for students. So we can discuss why we seniors didn't code these parts as effective challenges. And this tool used to be reflexive about coding, to make it more transparent. You can see how different coded data. And the last feature is recording of all project activities. This is something that enhances both reflexivity and transparency. As I already shown you, there is this log. When you can see, if I show 100 entries, there are all activities registered from the start of the project. You can see there are a lot of them. There are like more than 600 entries. And you can say, but how can I understand this this log? It's like machine type of information. But you can ask what I do. For example, if my project is 2 years long, I don't remember when I created my code. So I look for add code, and I can see that yeah, there is date of codes, and I see that all codes were created the same day. And so, and the line is, there is this high number. It means it is at the beginning of the project. So all codes were created at the beginning of the project before doing the analysis. So I know that all codes are deductive. So they were taken from theory, from the research question, not from the text itself. And I see it also for categories. I have new code here, but it was today. This is the today's code. And this is the way how to make it more transparent, how to know what I've done or what other people done, and all these code were done by Martin. And if I want to know, it was the question, if anyone did another code, I see that no one, all codes are by me, because I have a permission, and also Jasmine have permission to create code, and but only me created code. But if I'm supervisor of a student, I can look for example, how long the student coded, or how much time he or she spent on the project, or if the coding was created during analysis or before. So I can observe all, or if I'm in the team, I can look for Thomas, what Thomas did and when, or I can combine it like some period of time, for example, in June. I have only activities during June, and if I want a particular date, I can add the date, so I see what was done in this day. So this is another feature that like make the transparency of coding better, and also it enable us to be more reflexive, more to know more what we have done during the project. And to wrap it up, what is requal? For in general, it's suitable for all people who can't afford or who don't want to use expensive cloud software. So for the free people who want to use just free software, they can use requal. Or if you don't have enough money to buy expensive Max QDA and Vivo, you can use requal as well. But specifically, requal is designed for some task or for some type of people, and it is for research teams that work with textual data and who are interested in high quality hand coding. If you have research team that want just to do some kind of AI assisted analysis, thematic analysis, generate, and you have you don't really bother this quality of coding, you don't need to use requal. But your research will not be reflexive, will not be transparent. And also the second group of users is university teachers and university students that teachers can use this requal in classes when they teach qualitative data analysis. They can show if they ask students to register some of their attributes. They can show the differences between codings, between different groups of students. Also, it's easy to supervise it because you have access to the project and you can see all activities in it. And on the other hand, requal is not suitable for audiovisual data, for large volume of textual data. If you have 1,000 of social media posts, it's not good to use requal because it has no data management module, and it will not be practical. It will support it, but I don't recommend to use requal for this kind of analysis. Or if you want to do automated or AI-assisted coding, you should try another software, not requal. Or if you are looking for wide range of analytical, interpretative, or visualization tools, like in other software, if you want to see network of your code, if you want to visualize it, mapping codes of data, the software is not a good tool for that. It wasn't designed to do that. Yes, and that's all from me. And yeah, I welcome questions and I will try to answer.
There's a couple questions in the Q&A about possibility for PDF support, and then also whether it's possible to export to a Refi QDA project from Requal.
Yes, regarding PDF, no, we don't have this, or Requal doesn't have the capability to import PDF. I would say it's question of time, because it's the programming language is R. So if we find a good and reliable module to import PDF files, we can build support for PDF files. But at the moment, Requal doesn't have support for PDF files. How you tested AI collaborator to code textual data. We don't want to implement AI now, because we are rather the old school coders that we want to have control over coding. So for the moment, we don't experiment. Of course, in R, there are some open source AI modules So there is a possibility how to use it, how to implement it. But if someone is interested, they can make a fork because it's on GitHub. So it's open source. It's MIT licensed. So someone can make a fork and implement AI. But I'm not a friend of AI for qualitative coding. So for the moment, we don't use AI. Maybe in future, if we are forced by society or by the community, but for now, no. And yeah, is there anything?
There's another one in the Q&A. It says, is it possible to export to a refi QDA project?
Now it's not possible, but we are working on it. We applied for a grant, and I would say there is a high probability that we get this grant, and this grant will be specifically to create a refi export and import, of course, to make, because my vision is that people can use, for example, Atlas or NVivo, and they export a part of data. They do the reflexive analysis, and they overlap, and they use requal for like enhancing quality of coding, and they go back to this commercial software and then continue the analysis, but with more knowledge about their own coding. So it would be good to have this export import possibilities, but for now, yes, we don't have it.
There's more of a comment. So Marla Hertz has recommended a place to share it, the software, so people can cite its use. And then there's a question about the demo account as well. Like, do they need to use the demo account, or they need to
Yes.
create a personal account?
No, the demo is like for anyone, so you can use it with these credentials, demo and password requal 123. If you want to try to create your own project, just email me and I will create an account for you, and you can try the whole project. Yeah, this is but the best way is if you are like the single user, you can download the application and you can use it in your computer. And if you want to work in a team, you can ask how to install it in your university or your institution or some server, and you can benefit from the collaboration, from the features that are collaborative. Because if you have just single version at your computer, in your computer, you cannot collaborate. It's really like desktop version, but it's important because some people don't want to share data. They have very sensitive data. They want to share it with anyone. So they prefer to have a standalone application in a computer. So we have this mode, desktop mode. But if you want to use it for your team, it's best to have it installed in university server, which is usually quite safe. And yeah, you can work in teams. But for like testing, I can create an account at our university server.
Any other questions, folks? Feel free to hop on the mic if you'd prefer to. Let's see. Oh, there's a question just confirming it's the place to download from.
I think, yeah, you can, there is a link to GitHub because the repo is, you can download the last release from GitHub, but on this page, you can find the link to GitHub. Yes, thank you for sharing the link to GitHub.
And for anyone hesitant, because it involves R, I was able to do it like while listening and get it installed on my computer, and I'm not a usual R user. So just if anyone's concerned about that, it was very straightforward.
Yes, and we have YouTube tutorials, and also I am not programmer, and I was able to install it on a server. So, and you can use AI if you want to ask how to install it on a server. And my colleague did it on the server at her faculty. And yes, it's of course it's not for anyone, but if you are digital, if you have like any level of digital literacy, you can do it.
Thanks, everyone. This has been super useful. I think many of us are familiar with to get, but this is similar in some ways, but this definitely adds a lot of things like the user attributes, the attributes at all, especially the color coding. It seems like a small thing, but I always get questions about to get how it has the single color of, so it's hard to read the document once you've coded it. So, and especially for teaching, I think this would be amazing for a class to really get in a simple way to get in with students and talk about how they're coding and different ways they're coding.
Yeah, the colors, it was requirement by students because we collaborated with students in creation in developing requal, and students asked, or they say it has to have colors. Without colors, no way, no way.
Mhm.
So we implemented colors.
Very grateful.
Yes, and yeah, and the colors for overlaps or for graphs are like from blue to yellow for colorblind people, that they can differentiate between intensity of color. So it was also advice when we presented requal to some at some conference, that we change colors to this spectrum for colorblind people. Yeah, and if you have any suggestion, not for features that we don't want to make it big, but if you think that something is really good for make it more inclusive for people who are afraid of some complications, or who are afraid of software, we would like to make it as inclusive as possible for all type of people, different kind of capabilities. So we welcome all ideas how to improve it in this sense to make it more inclusive.
That's great. Okay, I think we are ready to wrap up. Thank you so much for your time and for this presentation. I will email everyone who registered. You will get a